Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rave with Mara podcast. My name is Maranatha Abutu, and if you don't already know, this is Rave with Mara podcast on Spotify and all other podcasting platforms like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Radio Public, etc. Now, on this week's show, we will be talking about friendship and on what basis you should be considering somebody as a friend and not just because you speak to this person every day. What exactly is the content of what you talk about? Is this person speaking to you based off their own problems, or are they interested in your affairs as well? If it's one-sided, then maybe it's not so much as a friendship, but somebody I need to have. So yeah, we will be talking about that and basing it off of something that I had figured out just last week. But before we go into that, we would be answering two questions that were sent in last week. Okay, no, one was sent in last week and I got one this week. When we come out from the short break, we would delve into that conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Without wasting much of anybody's time, we are going to be starting off with the first question that I got in. This person says, "Hi Mara, can you please talk about closure? I have this situation currently going on where my ex-boyfriend started calling me that he wants us to see and talk things over. I am currently getting past a talking stage with someone. Is this a wise decision or is this a wise decision to see this person?" I don't know if I have always been a fan of closure, but I know that on a friendship level, I used to be that person that is constantly worried about, will I be perceived as the bad person if somebody else is asking for closure, or if I don't ask this person for closure? Would that be something that I would not be judged for? I think I used to think about it from that angle. But in terms of relationship, sexual relationship with people, I'm not sure that I've always been a fan of closure. And that is because they have always ended in a way that everybody understands what exactly happened. So if it's a situation of, this person fucked up, or I fucked up, and so we need to talk things over. I don't know that everything that needed to be said were not already said before the relationship was, over. And is that situation where you are trying to move on? Like, you legit have come to a place in your life where you're starting to move on, or you have something important going. Your mental health is now in a good place. You're over this person. And all of a sudden, their village people whispers to them and they come back and start telling you something like, let's just see, I've not been able to get this over it, blah, 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 blah. As far as me, I am concerned, I don't think that closure has been something that I have needed from my previous relationships, because as much as they ended, they all didn't end on a shouting level, or on I think we all came to a place where we realized, we were bad for each other, and, staying back in this situation, we were always going to constantly have these problems. But I'm not going to lie and say that, I didn't have my ex-boyfriends call me back to say, let's talk, or I'm going to be a little more this and no longer this. I'm not going to be arguing with you anymore and all of that. But I wouldn't say that it was closure, because again, by the time you arrive at a place where you're saying that you no longer want to be with this person, that's enough closure. I'm serious. That's enough closure. And because I know that you are not going to be confident enough to tell your current past talking stage person that this is who you are going to have lunch with, or this is who you are going to meet. I don't think you should do it. Like, if you're going to lie to your partner, I don't know if I'm supposed to call him partner right now, but if you're going to lie, then I don't think you should do it. And plus, if you want to talk about closure, maybe there is a bit of information that the person is not getting clarity on. You can get on a call with this person. It doesn't have to be a physical meet, especially if you don't trust yourself around this person. Because I have been in a situation like that in the past where I know that this person is bad for me, but there is a way that you start to act when you're with this person, then what's the point? Do you understand? What's the point of going to meet this person physically? What are you trying to achieve? So I've also had a situation not very far ago where somebody reached out to me because they had read a piece of my writing and thought, I don't think this person you're describing is me. And I said, oh, okay, I think you have short-term memory loss or you have selective memory. He was so sure that, that particular thing I had written, even though it was about him, he couldn't reconcile the fact that that was him. Yes, and I get that people like to tell lies to themselves, especially if they've come to a good place where you're like, oh, I think I was a good person. This thing just ended though it ended in a good way, but it doesn't take away the fact that you did so and so and so at certain points. So closure is overrated. I'm telling you, it's overrated, especially because you're already moving past this person and they're just looking for a way to sort of drag you back. So if it's that important, ask them to call you, talk about it on the phone and get it over with. And it's not a thing where I have also had a situation with somebody who would always use calling to check on me as a way to revisit past conversations or past situations. I hate it. I detest it so much. So much. Because if you can't have a conversation outside of what has happened or how, somebody said so, how you misjudged and blah, 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 then what's the point? And so those kind of conversations for me are sort of draining. And so I don't even give or allow the chance for, let's have a closure. We can, hello, hi, whenever we see each other, but we don't have to be friends, like best friends or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense. So if it's a situation where you think this person didn't hurt you, maybe physically or emotionally, you can grant that if you absolutely want to. But if it's a situation where this person hurts you on so many levels, I don't think it's a good idea. And I think because you're already moving past this thing, revisiting that conversation might not be the way to go. But if you feel like you're in a strong place, then why not tell your current past talking stage person and talk with this person on the phone. That's how I feel. Then the next person says, hello, Maranatha. Hey, this person called my full name. I'm not sure if this is something you have experienced, but I seriously need to talk to someone about this. I am 31 years old and I have always wanted a child. I gave birth to a beautiful daughter a few months ago and I have not been able to love that child. It's hard to explain, but whenever I look at her, I do not feel a sort of joy or happiness as I thought that childbirth would bring me. I have not been able to tell anyone, including my husband. Won't they judge me? P.S. No mother thoughts. I just do not feel like being around her. This is a lot and maybe a little out of my depths because frankly, most of the things I see here, I see them based on my own personal experiences and what I think as a person or as an adult. But yes, this is not something I have experienced. I have never given birth before. I do not have this experience at all. But what I would say is that this is not uncommon. There is something called postpartum depression, which I wrote about in my book, Friendship Illusion. And this is also something that I think that a lot of new mothers are ashamed to talk about because society will judge them. And to be fair, yes, a lot of women and men will judge you because they expect that there is a sort of maternal instinct that should instantaneously kick in when you give birth to a child. But unfortunately, this is not the case for a lot of women. And I think that the more we start to shame women for it, the more we have a lot more problems on our hand. So you are not a young person, you're 31 years old, obviously, and you've always wanted a child. What I can say is that you need to speak to somebody who is in this field of work or who is in this line of work. So I don't know if you have also been honest with your gynecologist, if you've explained how exactly it's doing you. So I don't want to have to give different examples, but in my own book where I talked about postpartum depression, it was a situation where this lady gave birth to twins, and she couldn't also hold them, she couldn't breastfeed them. It was always a hassle for her. She didn't want to look at them. She was constantly sad, unhappy all the time. But her parents and her mom and her sister and then her husband were around to help her with it. But if this is something that you don't have people around to help you with, I think maybe call your mother and ask her for help, with the child in the house. But aside from that, you also need to speak with somebody. Talk to your gynecologist if this is something that is happening because of the changes in your body. And then you also need to talk to a therapist, a clinical therapist, who would be able to talk you through what you are feeling emotionally. Other than that, I don't think I have any help that I can render to you. But I'm really sorry that you're going through this. And it's not just you. There are lots of mothers who experience the same thing as well. And I want you to know that you are not alone. And nobody's going to judge you because you don't have control over how your hormones react in your body. And so I think you should be a lot kind to yourself. Tell yourself that this is not something that you wanted to happen. Because again, like you said, you actively wanted to have a child, right? So talk to your partner, your husband, your mother, and maybe your friends so they can assist you wherever possible. But most importantly, you need to speak to a therapist who can talk to you and get through these trying times. I'm really so sorry, and thankfully you don't have mother thoughts, because this is like the first things that some mothers starts to experience, that, oh, maybe this child is has taken something away from me, and so let them go. Maybe if they go, I would feel a lot more joy. But yeah, I commend you for that, and I think you just need to speak with somebody. And also, do not be harsh on yourself. Postpartum depression lasts between, when you give birth to 2 years even, and even more after you have given birth. So please be kind to yourself, but ensure that you're at least speak to your husband and make him understand that, something is happening to you and it's not your fault, and I'm really so sorry. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so we'll get a jump into my conversation on friendship. And, before we talk about that, now, let me go back to this first person. I was talking about closure. And I don't know if I mentioned it when I was speaking, but again, some of these people, they are your village people trying to keep you from making a big decision in your life. For instance, you are somewhere where you are asking God, oh God, please, I want to be able to make this choice. I want to be able to do this and move past this level. And all of a sudden, somebody's texting you from ages, centuries ago. So last week, I didn't record an episode last week because what I posted last week was from 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Now, last week, I was on my own, jejely. And then I woke up to a text message from somebody in the past. This is so funny because I can't give you guys a lot of context. But this is somebody I knew in the past. But it wasn't like we didn't date or anything. It wasn't. We were just talking a lot around a certain period. And, all of a sudden, this person said he wanted to marry me and whatnot. And the only context I'm going to give is that he said he's a pastor. He said he's a pastor, and then he's way older, way older. Which is what what I realized, I think it was a period I realized that, I can't do somebody, I'm sorry. I don't think I can be with somebody who is even 5 years or 3 years older than me. But this person, at the time, I think, by calculation, he should be almost double of my age. Yeah. But then he had married and lost his wife, so he was a widower. And then when we started to talk and, I realized that, wait, this person actually, we met on social media, actually. This person is actually old and what. At first started like, oh, how are you? How is school level? And, I want to be your friend, and blah, blah, blah. And, I was weary about why a person who was almost double my age wanted to be my friend, and after a couple of weeks, I realized, oh, okay, this one is actively searching for a wife for this person. The person you're talking to is a wrong number. Me like this, I'm a wrong number. And so it didn't go further because you are way experienced in everything more than me. You have more money than me. And then I was a student. So obviously you are going to be flashing money in my face and be trying to manipulate me. I'm not saying that this applies to him, but I'm saying this is how I feel, with people who are way older. And plus, you're a widower. Why not look for somebody who is close to you, in terms of age, who can understand you and understand your child, and all of that. I was just coming out of my teenage years. It was even up to 5 years after my teenage years. And you're telling me about marriage. Sometimes he would randomly wake up. I remember that, he calls me Queen. That's my first name. And he would randomly send me a message. Oh, how are you? Where are you now? What are you doing now? I'm not joking, randomly send me messages like that. And, then later on, it developed into, send me account number. Nigga, please. And sometimes I'll be like, why? And sometimes I would send. But when I made it clear that, no, if this is what you want, this is not something I want to do. Right? So I stopped communicating with him and all that. And then one time he came from nowhere and said, oh, I have so and so contract and I want you to move to a different state as me. And I said, oh, wait, did he have the contract? Because at that time I didn't have a job. This was when I had just come back to Abuja after my service. And so he just texted me randomly and was like, oh, I'm going to get a contract, blah, 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 blah. Can you come and be a blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I heard that government money, some government office money is good money. And I was starting to consider it until I thought, oh, wait, is this your way of trying to bring me to a place where I can no longer be able to say no? Because there's this thing with, when you don't like something, but if you come in contact with that thing over and over and over, and not like you don't like this thing from a bad place. So for instance, I say, I don't like HP, right? I don't like HP. And over and over and over again, I am constantly working with HP. I'm going to fall in love with it one way or another. Maybe because it's not my first choice, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, oh, it's not so bad after all. And so I had a lengthy conversation about that with him. And yeah, it turned out that, that was what he was trying to do. Now, tell me why, this was years ago, right? Tell me why I woke up, last week. And next thing I saw was, hello. Oh, fine. I had blocked him at some point. And also, he started texting me on Facebook. And you guys, I'm really on Facebook. Most of the things, I know people complain to me about this thing where they keep sending me messages on Facebook. And I don't reply and they think, oh, I'm proud or no. I am rarely on Facebook. So most of the things that you see me post on Facebook, I post them from Instagram. So if you're texting me there, I'm not going to be there. I know my cousin had something like this and, was thinking I was trying to block them or whatever. If I want to block you, I will block you. So that's not the point. And, one day I just decided, I was on my laptop and I said, oh wait, let me log into this thing and set something in my Meta business, whatever. And then I saw messages and I'm like, oh, This man again. And guess what this man was doing? He was trying to gaslight me into, oh, I've been your friend for so long. I've been there for you. Why can't you what to see me and blah, blah, blah. I'm the worst person you can try that kind of rubbish with. So I went in hard. After I said everything I wanted to say, I blocked him off. Like, I can't be dealing with this thing. Like, every 2-3 years you remember and come back to text me. Please, am I owing you? So I had blocked him and also blocked him on my WhatsApp, I think. Oh yeah, I deleted a lot of numbers. Yes, I deleted a lot of numbers. So some of the numbers that I had blocked out, I just deleted the numbers instead. Like, okay, it's been such a long time. Just go. You know, and so last week I woke up and I saw hello. And I'm like, what? How is this person still having my contact after so many years? No, he said, I'm in your city, like I'm in Abuja. And I said, okay. And I put dot with a question mark, like, where is this leading to? And he goes, I mean, I want us to see, to talk since. Wait, are people delusional? Do people really have selective memory? Because see and talk about what? So I was like, I'm sorry, what business do we have together? See, I can be extremely rude, especially if I have said something to you over and over and it seems like it's not sinking in. I don't have the patience. I'm very sorry, I don't have patience for those sort of things. So I said, what business do we have together? And then after like 5 minutes or there, I went to check my phone, message has still not dropped, and I was like, okay, I think. And then he was like, he doesn't know what to say. I'm like, okay, good. Please, we don't have any business together, and I don't like that you keep texting me over and over to discuss what? To discuss what? I didn't know that closure now. Wait, what is even the closure that we are closing? Because we never got together. It never got past, I want to marry you. Oh, wait, how old are you? Why do you want to? I'm sorry, I'm not age shaming him or whatever, but it's just weird that people just wake up and decide. And it's that thing again where I used to be like, when men are actively seeking people, they don't just seek one person. They talk to like of people, and then it's like almost like first come first serve. And it's also that thing where men will come to a certain age. I'm not talking about him right now, but something else happened, which I'm not going to get into. But it's that thing where men that are your friends or were your friends from when you guys were way younger, right, would wake up and think, oh, I'm in my 30s. I want to marry. I want to settle down. And all of a sudden, they are going back to look for you to now start telling you of how, oh, I've not really been in a relationship. Now I want to settle down and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, they're trying to preposition you in a way that, when we knew you were a good person, you know, we were okay, we're cordial. And so maybe we can consider being together. And I'm like, is this a thing of, they don't break my heart too much and I have nowhere else to go, and so this is my option? Or is this a thing of, I just need to have somebody for procreation? I know I've said this thing on one episode where I was talking about reasons why men and women marry. Yeah, and most times it's not from a place of, oh, I love this person, but it's from a place of, I think for women sometimes is, oh, this person is good to me, and I think I'll be able to have a fairly good life with this person. And then from the men's perspective, it's usually from, oh, she is also a good person, and I think she's going to be a good wife and a good homemaker. You know, and it's time for me to start bearing children or something. It's crazy because I know that tomorrow people will say women are double dating, but literally, as far as I can remember, there were men who were actively seeking me out and also seeking out people who were close to me, and also trying to see how, oh, who will answer first, or if at all, these are my options. One person will say yes from this lot that I have. It's crazy, but that's people's business. On friendship matter, who is a friend? A friend is somebody you can rely on, a person who you can be open with, a person who you are proud of what they do, and a person who you want to be there for in times of need and lack. And so when friendship starts to look like parasitic, behavior or parasitic relationship, then I don't think that's friendship anymore. Especially if this person is always coming to you when there's a problem in their life and never giving room for you to express how you feel or what you're going through, or it is that they don't actually care about what is going on with you or how you are or whatever. When people ask me about my friends and I say, oh, I've known this person for almost 20 years, or oh, I've known this person for 12 years, or oh, I've known this person for so and so period, they look at me like, oh, don't you have any friends that are, or recent? And I know I do. Ella that you guys know, and she's been here on the podcast like twice, one for audio and then the second time for the YouTube. I actually didn't become friends with her until 2020, which is like 3 years ago. I've always been that person to always make the disparity between who an acquaintance is and who my friend is. So I can be friendly with 1,000 persons. We talk every day, but you are really not my friend in a friend level, because probably the things that we are talking about are superficial, or things about a situation that is going on with work, or just an everyday thingy, or we are bonding over a status or a conversation that is on social media or whatever, right? For me, a friend is someone who, like I explained before, who are all of those things and who knows me on a personal level. It doesn't mean that, oh, I have to be talking to my friends every day. I don't think I talk to all my friends every day. But there are specific people that if after 2 days we don't talk, I start to feel weird, like, oh wait, I haven't checked on this person in 2 days. What's going on? Or, which is most of the time, they reach out to me and say, Mara, how are you? Or what's going on? Or, they just randomly say good morning. And then sometimes we jump on a call and it becomes a lengthy call. But something had happened with one of my friends, and I realized that it was somebody else who called me to tell me this certain thing about my friend. And to me, I don't think that's friendship. If you're keeping me around for the sake of, oh, I need this person around me because of what I can get from them, or because there are people who you need to have handy, we are not friends. And that's not such a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing. But I don't want to be able to call you a friend and you don't see me on that level. I don't know if that makes sense. So if we speak, we talk about stuff, but something big is going on in your life and you don't talk to me about it, and I have to hear from somebody else who is our mutual friend, who is telling me, oh, do you know that this person got so and so? Or do you know that this person is going through so and so? I don't think you consider me a friend. In July, when my phone got bad, it made me also think about, okay, who were the people that actually noticed I was away? Who reached out to me? Something happened last week as well where I decided to turn off my data for like 6 hours. But that was because I was busy. And, my partner and my friend started to get worried. And they're basically looking for the numbers of my neighbors and calling everybody. They sent me email, called me on Telegram, called me on Instagram. But the problem was, and then MTN told them my phone was switched off, which is unheard of, right? By the time I went online, I was not angry that, why will you people be sending several people to come and look for me? Did I die or something? And then my friend said, please, I don't have the mental strength to start to worry about, oh, is something wrong with my friend? And that was a week after my generator had caught fire. So this was something that they were thinking, oh, maybe something had happened, or I hit my head, or I had a migraine, or so they were concerned. And I started to think, okay, when I was offline for an entire month, some of my friends didn't know. Some of the people I call friends didn't know. Some of them didn't understand what was happening. And in between that time, one particular person had reached out to ask for something that I no longer had access to because I had wiped out my phone and sold it, right? So I had to log into my iCloud to look for this particular thing to send to her. And while I had also said to her that, so and so was going on with me, she didn't bother to ask what happened, how I became in that state. She didn't bother until 2 weeks later. She needed something else again. She came back. And I started to think about how much I usually go out of my way. And this is not just something that's happened with her, right? I usually go out of my way to be there for people. And then I'm going through something that I have mentioned. This is not something it's not a thing of, you didn't say it. Or, but then you actively told somebody, this is what is going on. But this person never bothered to ask, or even, it didn't occur to her to ask me, so how are you now? Or how are you faring? I don't think you're my friend, and I don't think you are a kind of person that I want to have around me. On the basis of friendship, you would still have access to me, by sending me messages, but on a personal level, I don't think that I want you to have that much access to my life anymore. And I still feel like maybe I can't consider myself your friend because I don't know a lot about your family, or I don't know a lot about your background. And so I can't really consider myself your friend if that's not something that I know. I want to be able to say tomorrow that, maybe this phone or this ring light is my friend, and this ring light or phone does something outside. I'm like, yeah, I know why the person did that kind of thing. But if I feel like I can't defend you or defend your person outside, I don't think we're friends. And vice versa. If you don't know enough about me to defend me, you're not my friend and I'm not your friend. And so I feel like maybe we have friends that are not so much as friends, and then we have our close-knitted friends. Maybe there's a disparity for that. I don't know. But one of my oldest friends, I found out that when things happen with her, I'm not her go-to, which is fine. You're allowed to have other friends. We're allowed to have break in communication. We're allowed to be off. You're allowed to talk to your other friends. But if I have to message you or talk to you for you to remember a very important detail of your life to tell me, I don't know. It hurts me. It hurts me because, again, I've noticed that with my friends, I'm an open person, but I feel like I'm always it's easy for me to tell my friends that, this is what's happening with me. But if that energy is not being reciprocated, then I don't think that you consider me somebody who should have certain information about your life. And if that's the case, then maybe I am wrong, right? Maybe I have done something to you where you're no longer confident about it, but you cannot confront me about it. Then that's fine, right? So you are free to not regard me as your friend. But if you're also free to even block me. Yeah. You are also free, because if I am a person who is toxic for you, then for your mental health, for your sake, you are free, you are allowed to do whatever you want to do, right? But to now form or pretend that we are best friends, and these things happen over and over again, where whenever we converse, is either you have a problem, or I am the one calling you to tell you something that is going on with me, and probably you don't have anything good. You are always going to be jumping on the negatives than, the positives. Then I don't think we are good for each other. And so I keep asking people. Last week, Helen was saying during the brunch that it's good to have bad friends around you. I don't think so. And I'm not a particular of that. And so if you notice that I have done something to you, or you don't have access, if you don't feel confident enough to talk to me about it, I have learned that something like this, something happened far back as 2019. And while I am always the one who is always confrontational about this, it doesn't always mean that I am the right one, right? But it just means that I am always eager and willing to try to resolve these issues. But I've also found out that a lot of people are not confrontational and they do not want to talk about it. And it's also possible that I am the bad person or I'm the bad friend. I've done something to them where they also don't feel confident to now divulge certain information to me. Then it's fine, right? It's fine. But I don't want to have to pretend that something is not wrong when something is actually wrong. And I think it's my issue with not pretending that makes it very obvious when I go out of my way and say, you know what, let's just keep each other at arm's length. If I am your friend, I deserve to hear from you about certain decisions than to hear from outside. And I feel like friendship breakups are a lot more mentally draining for me because I keep going back on conversation and I keep asking myself, oh, did I fuck up? Or was there something I said or did that made this person this way? Or was I too harsh in, the things I have had to do? And so I am not a bad person. I don't think that these persons are bad people. I just think that you should not refer to me as a friend or make me feel like a friend just because you need something from me. In the same way, friendship is sort of supposed to be mutual and it's supposed to be work put in by both people. If I am the only one who is trying to make this thing work, we are not meant to be friends. And, quite frankly, friendship is not by force. And while I think that female friendships can be a lot dramatic, I also think that I have people in my life who we have known for such a long time. And no matter how much we get, conflicted in our opinions or views, it's never been gotten to anywhere where we are disrespectful of each other's views, right? But if you think that maybe I am a bad person for you, then by all means, do not refer to me as a friend. But whenever you talk to me, I would respond to you. And also do not expect that I would now keep sharing intimate details about my life with you. That's not how this thing works, so that's what I feel. But if you guys think otherwise, let me know in the comment section. Anyway, this is where I will end this episode for today. Thank you guys for always coming back to watch on YouTube. My podcast is Rave with Mara, is on Spotify, Google Podcast, and all other podcasting platforms. Please follow me on Spotify. Please also follow my Instagram page, Rave with Mara Podcast. And I hope to see you guys next week. Bye-bye.